One problem, much of NASA's staff is currently furloughed due to the government shutdown, so it's been hard to get a hold of anybody to talk about 3I Atlas. We emailed multiple press contacts with NASA and got pretty much the same response from all of them, an auto-reply email saying NASA is currently closed due to a lapse in government funding. This mailbox is not being monitored.
3I Atlas, it is up to a little bit more strangeness. Now, last week, we told you that 3I Atlas was getting way brighter, way bluer as it got close to the sun. Well, now there is a new report from NASA that shows that 3I Atlas might be picking up a little speed in, quote, non-gravitational acceleration. But what does that mean? Well, basically, it means it's being propelled by some other force besides gravity. Maybe it's thrust from burning off of chemical compounds as it got near the sun, which happens occasionally. It would be natural for comets. They usually burn off some of those chemicals, and that's what you see in that big cloud afterwards. And we would see a very big cloud around it once we get a very good visual soon, but we haven't yet. In the meantime, the hype is in overdrive with headlines jumping straight to conclusions. Alien ship uses engine? I mean, we're not there yet.
Of course, Elon Musk chimed in.
It's quite a name. Sounds almost mystical, like Third Eye. Nickel-heavy comets and asteroids aren't uncommon. That doesn't make them spaceships. If I ever came across solid evidence of aliens, Joe, I promise I'll announce it on your show, Musk said with a grin. And just to be absolutely clear, I'm never committing suicide ever.
Strip away the hysteria, and this comet is genuinely fascinating. 3I Atlas is not from our solar system. It's the ultimate cosmic tourist. Scientists say 3I Atlas may be a relic from the early Milky Way.
Are aliens headed for Earth right now, today? A theoretical physicist says the answer is maybe. He suggests a Manhattan-sized object known as 3I Atlas could actually be a mysterious alien spaceship.
Now check this out. Hubble captured this image of the comet on July 21st when the comet was 277 million miles from Earth. Hubble shows that the comet has a teardrop-shaped cocoon of dust coming off its solid, icy nucleus. As it moves away, it could start releasing gas into overdrive, making it look bigger and brighter than ever when telescopes pick it up again in early November. Both NASA and the European spacecraft are ready to study it as an interstellar traveler heads back into deep space for good.
Now, non-gravitational acceleration, like how much acceleration are we talking here?
Well, thanks for having me. It was data from the ALMA observatory, which is a millimeter wave set of sensors that presumably detected the 3I Atlas as it approached perihelion, closest approach to the sun. And what it discovered is a deviation by 4 arc seconds in right ascension from the expected path. And that's very significant, statistically significant. I calculated, given the level of acceleration that they inferred that was reported on the Jet Propulsion Lab website for 3I Atlas, that corresponds to evaporation of about a sixth of the mass of the object to give it that kind of a boost as a result of recoil. It's a very significant fraction of the mass of the object. And I calculated it based on momentum conservation. The material flowing away from the object in one direction gives it a kick in the opposite direction. There is no way out of that. And under relatively conservative assumptions about the escape speed of the molecules or dust particles from the object, one gets that a substantial fraction of the mass of the object had to be evaporated. So that means that if it's a comet, a natural comet, it should be surrounded by a cloud of gas that carries 5 billion tons or more. And the object itself was losing a significant fraction of its mass. So that means when we look at the 3I Atlas after it goes out of hiding behind the sun. And that should happen within a week or two. If it's a natural comet, we should really see a very bright, massive cloud of gas, and perhaps even a cometary tail that is extremely bright around it. If we don't see that, the question is what propelled it? And there is no way out. One way or another, we should figure out the nature of the object. If it evaporated, if 20% or so of the mass of the object got evaporated by sunlight, then we will know its nature, because that's a substantial portion of the mass that the object was made of to start with. And we can figure out what composition that material has.
Speaking of something, this could be something. Interstellar visitor 3I Atlas making a mysterious move toward the sun in what people are calling a cosmic turning point. Those people could have just been our producers, but I'm going to say it anyway. The expectation is that this thing should break up when it goes to the sun, because the sun, as we know, very, very hot. Things go near it, they break up. But if it remains intact and moves away from the sun, that could be a sign of extraterrestrial intelligence. What do you think it's going to do, Nick?
Well, the simplest explanation is that it probably will turn out to be an interstellar comet. Hugely interesting in its own right, of course. But yeah, I'm watching this story very closely. If it does do anything really unusual, and it proves to be technological, it will be the biggest story in history. But if nothing else, look, this has got everyone thinking about this as a possibility. And that ties in, as I say, with the fact that this whole subject is now viewed not as kind of conspiracy theory or science fiction, but as a serious defense and national security issue.
Yeah, there is a debate taking place right now within the scientific community over this thing, 3I Atlas. Some people say it's a comet. Other people think it's something else. They think it could be a spaceship. Why do some people think it's that?
Well, I think there are some unusual things about its speed, its trajectory, the fact that comets usually have a tail pointing away from the sun as they approach. This one had a sort of anti-tail. But if we were sending a probe to another solar system, this is kind of probably exactly what we would do: a close flyby of the planets, and then see what happens.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm watching very closely.
I think you said the key thing, though. If this story turns out to be not just a piece of space junk that's going to burn up, and it turns into something, it will be the greatest story, biggest story of our lifetime. And
Yeah.
Nick, we're sure to have you back. We will book you again
Yes.
Yeah,
if it becomes
don't do any
a thing.
other shows.
Yeah, right. This is
the
our
one
show.
if this thing happens.
So there's an object that we don't know where it came from. It's near Earth. How close will this thing come to Earth, Meike?
Well, it's moving really fast, just so
Okay.
you know, 137,000 miles per hour. To put this in perspective,
Yes.
the space station travels at 17,500 miles per hour. All right. So this thing is not making a beeline for Earth. NASA says it won't come any closer than 170 million miles to our planet. So it's not a threat. But some scientists disagree, saying it may be an alien mothership in disguise that could visit us at any time. Other folks refer to it as possibly being a black swan event. That means a highly improbable event with possible massive consequences, difficult to predict.
I know the whole entire community that listens to the We Are Not Alone special on Queen City News Plus is eating this all up.
There is some unusual observations around 3I Atlas that are leading some people to think, hey, there's a high probability or some level of probability that it's not natural. What are those abnormalities?
That's right. So you can look at what has been detected as far as the chemical composition. They seem to think that with some of the plumes around that there aren't a lot of suggestions of water composition, but maybe high concentrations of nickel, which as we manufacture has low concentrations of iron. And that's what they're finding. And so Avi Loeb has suggested that because of that, it's possible that this is an artificial manufactured object and that it's utilizing its point right now closest to the sun today as what we call the perihelion as an opportunity to either potentially change trajectory. And so we might see that coming after today, with the next few days, weeks, or sometime here in the near future, if it might change direction.
So today it's on the backside, the dark side of the sun. It is being monitored, and this seems to be the moment of truth from what I'm led to understand. If the object changes course or changes speed, that will be an indication that it is not natural?
It could potentially give us an idea that there is some way that we can know more about its intentions. If it is artificial whatsoever, if it has any sort of signature, a techno-signature, a biosignature that we can understand, the Juno project is actually looking at using radio frequencies to detect if there's any sort of material detection that can be found as far as radio waves and things that can help us understand if it does have a signal as it continues to pass on through. But right now, it's something that we'll not be able to see from Earth because it is on the opposite side of the sun.
But I want to be clear. It's already behaving in abnormal ways. And it is behaving in abnormal ways, I believe, to include not normal gravitational expectations. But this moment, and tell me if I'm wrong, is the moment of truth.